Yeah, baby.
You got a big surprise coming to you.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Jim. You know, you would be absolutely correct if you figured I'd be coming to you today from deep in the bowels of this Mercedes-Benz SL500, since it has a failed transmission. That's what I should be working on. And I do have it on the lift. And, you know, you would be correct if you thought that's what I should be working on. But I got something else happening today. You already know what it is. You've seen the thumbnail and the title. I did it. Check this out. Nice. 2003 Kawasaki KLX400, but really what it is it's a Suzuki DRZ400. Apparently they made them just for this 1 year and labeled them as Kawasaki's, even though they are entirely a Suzuki DRZ. Every single piece of it is interchangeable with a Suzuki DRZ, from what I understand. So I don't think these are all that particularly rare or sought after, but supposedly they're a pretty nice bike. This one has been sitting for a very long time. It has lots of problems. Tires are falling apart. There's some cords. It's been sitting for probably 10 or 12 years. And the person that had it, well, I'll tell you more when we get it inside, but they offered it to me for free. So I'm sure you're asking, why on earth would someone offer me this, what seems to be a decent bike, for free? And the story I got was that their family member had bought this bike, bought it new, and then he only kept it registered in California for like 1 year or 2 years or something like that. And then he took it out of state and was using it on a private ranch. And apparently when he came back to California a few years later, they went after him and even tried to, they went after him, I think they said on his taxes or something. Anyway, the registration was building up on this bike. Because it had been registered briefly, the state of California continued to let the registration go year after year, even though he wasn't around, apparently. And so what they suspect, now that this bike is back, it's got no plates, it has no paperwork, and the person that had it said that they suspect that it's probably got a huge amount of back registration due on it. If I go to the state of California and try to even register it for off-road use, it may come up with some back registration fees of, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars, because there would be a lot of penalties over 16 years. So that's what they think is the problem. And they also said that it hasn't run in years, and that they drained gas out of it a few years ago that smelled horrible. They said it was dripping. So it's got problems. But I figured, why not? Let's have some fun with this thing. So let's really kind of, I'm going to go over it real quick here and see if we can kind of make a list of what I'm going to have to do. Yeah, so my list so far is all the basics. You'll see at the bottom there it says fuel line, because I noticed that the actual fuel line that goes from the tank to the carburetor float pole is missing. So I'm guessing they probably pulled that off when they drained the fuel out, but I don't know. So I guess I'm going to put a fuel line on and maybe see if it turns over. You know, the chain doesn't look too terrible. I mean, this bike is really in pretty good shape overall, and a little bit of wear from somebody's boots, but gosh, this bike really looks in amazingly good condition. I mean, there's some scratches on it here and there, but it's in pretty good shape. I know somebody fell down a bit there. And these tires are absolutely garbage. Yeah, those tires have got to go. Those things are deadly. But everything else on this bike looks pretty good. It's water cooled, and I did notice over here, if you see like right up there, there's some, looks like little powder, some sort of seepage from the coolant leaking there, I would think. So this might need a little gasket repair job in here. But everything else looks pretty good. It's supposed to have a little 12-volt battery in here. I'm going to have to order one. It's not present. But I think what I can do is I'm going to use a jump start battery. And I'm going to hook up the jump start battery and see if I can, if this thing will turn on or fire up, or I mean, just see if it's alive at all electronically. This is my Duracell jump start battery, and we've got a full charge, yay. And I have it hooked up to my leads. And I have a set of keys. Let's see what happens. Come on, baby. Oh, we got something. What? Can that be right? Holy crap. This thing doesn't even have 2,000 miles on it. Wow. It looks like it's alive. I can't believe it. The blinkers even kind of work. How funny. Okay. Well, I kind of want to see if the engine will turn over. It doesn't have any gas, of course. There's no fuel in the tank. Okay, so now I got both hands. Let's see how it sounds, or if it'll turn over. Oh! Well, it sounds fine. It sounds absolutely fine. So this thing is probably going to have a carburetor overhaul, I would imagine. And looking at the oil here, I think these things have to be running and up to temperature in order to check the oil properly, but there is a tiny bit of oil on the end of the dipstick. I think it's ill-advised to add any until I know exactly the procedure, but the motor turns over. It sounds fine. It sounds like there's perfect compression. I hear a plop, 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 plop coming out of the exhaust pipe. So it has potential to be a winner. So, yay. I think I'm going to go ahead and put on a piece of fuel line and put a little gas in and see if it'll just start right up. Wouldn't that be something? Well, we have, it's not quite right, but it's something I had laying around. So we have a new fuel line. I have some gas here in a little can. And unlike Uncle Rob, hopefully I won't actually cause a huge explosion. I'm going to put a little gas in it and see if we can start it. When I picked the bike up, it had 2 flat tires, and I was able to pump them up with a bicycle pump, and they held. That was yesterday, so, and they still seem to be holding. So if that's any indication, this bike will come back to life pretty easy. Wow. Hopefully I'm not making anybody's head explode by doing anything too terribly wrong here. but I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for fun and having a good time, and the bike was free. So, you know, I think we're going to be okay. So I put the gas in. I only put a little bit. So now I think I'm going to turn this petcock to prime so we get fuel flow. Well, that's kind of stiff. Oh boy, that's real stiff. Okay. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. What we got here? Okay. It is leaking. It looks like it's leaking from somewhere up in here. So the seal in the petcock is bad. I'm sure it's a rotten rubber. Okay, so I'll drain the tank. I'm glad I didn't put too much in. I only put, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 ounces in. So I'll drain that back out, and didn't get too much on the floor, so that's not too bad. And I'm going to have to pull the gas tank and pull this petcock off. But meanwhile, this is looking pretty good. And you know what? When I have the tank off and when I'm pulling that apart, I'll probably just go ahead and pull the carburetor off and just give it a quick clean up and inspection, and might even overhaul it. We'll see. Okay, well, that stopped me from trying to start it, but hey, I think this bike is going to be a lot of fun. And if it ends up being something that I cannot register, I'll just go ahead and use it as, you know, a little spare tire in the back of the big Ford when I go off-roading. Not really use it that much except for an emergency. Or maybe I can get it registered. You never know. Maybe it's been long enough it's just fallen out of the system. And if that's the case, then it'll be okay if I spend, you know, probably going to have to spend $300 or $400 between tires and bits and pieces. And that's assuming nothing else goes shows up as being really wrong. And I'm going to have to change the coolant. I should flush. I should write that on my note that I need to flush the radiator and all of that, and check out where that thing is leaking. But the headlight worked, and the directionals kind of worked. Oh no, this tail light looks pretty suspect. That's another problem here. It's even got a big burn mark on it from having too big a bulb in it, I guess. But that certainly does not look original or legal for street use. Although it does have a plate holder. It looks like it had a plate on it at one point, but hey, that's the new toy. Thanks for watching. And I will be working on the Mercedes here again very soon. I'm watching videos and I'm trying to bone up on what I'm going to have to actually do. I think it is going to be replacing the conductor plate in the transmission. And there's lots of videos online about that, and some are better than others. And hopefully that will make it so I can drive this baby again soon. But for now, we're playing with this.